This chilling ghost story comes from a location in France that holds a dark secret from World War II. It's a place called the Last Bell of Oradour-sur-Glane. But what happened here has left many people asking, why? In 1944, French citizens living in the village of Oradour-sur-Glane had been suffering under Nazi occupation. To this day, it remains exactly as it was when the shootings happened, serving as a memorial to those who died there. Tensions were high as resistance to the Nazis grew, and one day the unthinkable happened. Some believe this is the ghost of the town's former priest, Father Paul, who was killed during the massacre. Others say it's the spirits of the villagers trapped in the bell tower, forever mourning their lost lives. German forces stormed the town and rounded up all of the locals, bringing them to the town square, where they shot them all dead. It was the village priest, Father Paul, who tried to offer them some comfort as they were led away. However, once they arrived, they were ordered to stay put and were not allowed to leave. As the hours passed, the villagers could hear the sound of gunfire in the distance, and their worst fears were confirmed. The men had been executed, but his own fate was about to be sealed. They knew that they were next. When the SS arrived at the village, they wasted no time in carrying out their plan. According to legend, if you visit Oradour-sur-Glane today, you can hear the sound of a bell ringing. But this is no ordinary bell. It's the ghost bell of Oradour-sur-Glane. The Germans had returned and were systematically executing the women and children too. And then just as quickly as they started, they stopped. Silence. In total, 643 people were murdered in Oradour-sur-Glane, including Father Paul and 2 other priests. The entire village had been wiped out. He took the recording with him, but when he listened to it back, all he could hear was static. Others believe it was never destroyed at all, and that the Nazis simply took it with them when they left. A few weeks later, the church was opened to the public for the first time since the war. But how could this be? If the bell had been destroyed during the massacre, why was it still hanging in the tower? He stumbled upon a cellar where he saw a ghostly figure standing over a pile of bones. The soldier was so terrified that he ran away without looking back. Many believe that the spirits of the villagers are trapped here, and that they are seeking revenge on the Germans who destroyed their homes and murdered their loved ones. That's why it's never rung again. And why did the historian hear it ringing during his investigation? In recent years, the mystery of the bell has captured the attention of many paranormal investigators. One team decided to return to the village and try and capture the sound of the bell on camera. And one visitor noticed something strange. When they looked up at the bell tower, they saw that the bell was intact and swinging gently in the breeze. When they returned to check the camera, they were shocked by what they saw. On the screen was the image of the bell swinging slowly back and forth. But that wasn't all. In the corner of the screen, they could see a shadowy figure standing behind the bell. It looked like an old man wearing a long robe and a hood. The entire village is said to be cursed. They didn't want to disturb whatever spirit was there. The investigators never returned to the village, and the mystery of the bell remains unsolved. As they ran away, they could hear the sound of the bell ringing loudly, and then everything went silent. He assumed that the stress of the situation had gotten to him, and that it was all in his head. This is the most popular explanation for the mystery of the bell, and it's supported by the fact that the village is said to be haunted. As they were walking through the ruins, her son suddenly stopped and pointed to an empty swing set. "Mommy, who's there?" he asked. Startled, she told him that no one was there, but her son insisted that someone was pushing the swing. Then suddenly, the wind picked up and the swing set began to move on its own. The mother and son ran away as fast as they could. They ordered everyone to assemble in the town square, and then separated the men from the women and children. The bodies of the men lay strewn across the ground, and the sight was enough to break their hearts. With nowhere else to go, the women and children stayed in the town overnight. It was a terrible tragedy and a stark reminder of just how brutal the war had become. But what makes this story especially haunting is that after the massacre, the town was abandoned and left in ruins. Life here had been peaceful until the dark days of World War II, when the Nazis occupied France. A few years ago, a well-known war historian decided to spend the night in the ruined church to try and capture the sound of the bell on tape. As he sat alone in the darkness, he heard what sounded like children singing. At first, it was faint and distant, but then it grew louder and more intense, and began rounding up Jews and political dissidents alike, imprisoning them in one of France's infamous Veldiv concentration camps. And it's said that the sound of the bell can be heard throughout the day. Some say it's the ghost of Father Paul, who was killed while trying to protect his flock. Others believe it's the spirits of the villagers trapped in the bell tower, forever mourning their lost lives. It's said that if you visit the town today, you can hear the sound of a bell ringing, even though it was destroyed during the attack. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: the bell of Oradour-sur-Glane continues to fascinate and terrify visitors alike. So let's explore this eerie tale and uncover the mystery behind the ghost bell of Oradour-sur-Glane. Our story begins in the small French village of Oradour-sur-Glane, a picturesque community nestled in the rolling hills of the Limousin region. As the war raged on, the people of Oradour-sur-Glane watched in horror as their friends and neighbors were taken away, never to be seen again. The men were taken away first, but before they were led to the square, many saw a familiar face waiting for them. After the men had gone, the women and children were brought to the square under the pretense that they were being relocated to another camp. When the women and children were finally allowed to leave the square, they saw the horrifying aftermath. But in the morning, they were met with an even more terrifying scene. Afterwards, the SS left the town in ruins, and it's been preserved ever since, a chilling reminder of the horrors of the Holocaust. Now let's move on to the part of the story that will send chills down your spine. The bell is located in the village church, which was badly damaged during the massacre. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. Then suddenly the singing stopped, and he heard screams. The screams of men, women, and children echoed around the church, filling him with terror. When the sun came up, he gathered his things and left the church. But that's when the twist ending of this story comes in. It turned out that the bell had been hidden in the tower all along, camouflaged by debris and rubble. To this day, the bell remains a mystery. Some believe it was moved after the war and somehow became dislodged from its hiding place. But there's one theory that's even more chilling. Some believe that the bell has supernatural powers and that it's haunted by the ghosts of Oradour-sur-Glane. Many visitors have reported hearing strange noises and seeing apparitions moving through the ruins. And it's not just the bell that's haunted. One story tells of a German soldier who was exploring the ruins after the war. Another story tells of a woman who visited the village with her young son. These are just two of the many stories of paranormal activity that have been reported at Oradour-sur-Glane. It is also said that the bell is cursed, and that anyone who rings it will be haunted by the ghosts of Oradour-sur-Glane for the rest of their lives. But what do you think? Do you believe that the bell is haunted? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And now it's time for the final part of our story. They set up a camera in the ruins of the church and left it running overnight. The investigators were terrified and quickly backed away from the camera. When they checked the camera again, the bell was gone and the old man was nowhere to be seen. So what do you think? Is there really a ghost bell haunting Oradour-sur-Glane? Or is it all just a hoax? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more chilling ghost stories from around the world. Thanks for watching.